Okay, hello everybody. So I wanted to go over next step on project 2, which is the project proposal. Now, project proposal is a document that you create when you're trying to pitch a project. Advertising, this is often very common. Also, if you have a new idea and you want to try and convince somebody to fund it or to support it, a proposal will be necessary, right? You need to be able to show people what it is you're thinking, explain to them why you and your team are capable and able to accomplish doing the project with their financing, their funding, their support. And then just explain what it is you want to do, right? How it would work, why you think it makes sense, how you think it'll meet the goals, and those types of things, right? So it explains really what you're up to. So for your project, and again, this will be due on the next class meeting, 304, you're going to, and team will create a project proposal. Now, you've already got to have your name, right, and thinking a little bit about your branding. But there are a number of other things that are going to need to go in the proposal. And the proposal pitches your idea as well as documents your work. So let's go through what's going to be in there. You'll introduce your team, right? Team name, cover photo, introduce that stuff. Introduce your team members, identify the role that each one will play. Then explain what your project is about, right? And so you're going to write something that demonstrates you understand what the project is all about, what you hope to accomplish by creating the app, right? Start to define your goals. And we can refine this over time, but you've got to start somewhere, right? Who your intended audience is. What problems and opportunities will your app respond to? What benefits does it provide to the user and a wider community? Why does your team believe there's an opportunity to provide an innovative idea that'll help your users achieve their goals? And then a very general description of the technologies and concepts you plan to use in your app, right? And like for this, if you have some ideas, you don't have to explain all the features. So, saying we plan to use AI to achieve our goals rather than, saying we're going to do something very specific, right? And I just linked out to Google Selfie, sort of talked about that in the other demo. Research on existing and related applications, right? You should have done this part already. You should have this put together. Defined your intended audience, right? Your created personas. You're thinking about that already, right? You've started to put that format together. Now you're going to need to create 4 of them, 4 actual ones. Put that into your thing. Explain your research, right? On each of your site visit, your category research, right? All the generative research that you've been working on. Your survey results, right? You probably don't have those just yet, but we're working on getting those. Then your affinity diagram, right? If you have your card sort done. So we're taking all the work that we've done on the project to date, organizing it, sequencing it, explaining it, and putting it into a presentation. As we go forward with the project, you'll keep returning to this document each time you complete another step and add it back into here. And then we'll present this document at the end as part of the final, right? So you can take a look for presentation formats, design your own, work with an existing one that you modify, whatever makes most sense for your team. Kickstarter.com, if you're familiar with that site, they do project proposals all the time. Everybody there is trying to get money to do their project, so they have to pitch their idea, show what their idea is going to be. And it could be a good source of sort of seeing how people put these things together. Right? Think of something good. Make it neat. Okay? And I've linked to a couple of examples from last semester. And I'll talk about those just a second. So let's just take a second here. So circling back. Yes, degree presentations, right? I've just linked that to a number of free presentation formats, right? Some of these may make sense, some may not make sense, may be too overdone, right? But be aware, right, that there are free templates out there, right? And customers or clients may already be using them, right? So as you're working on yours, understand that, folks are going to have a certain expectation about how how good your presentation looks. So, we don't want the design to overwhelm the project, but at the same time, it's got to be neat, it's got to be well designed, got to be sharp. So, coming back, right? Kickstarter. So I just linked there. Right, you can go through these at your own interest. So the past examples, 1 and 2. Let's take a look at the first one. Right. So the Chords team, right, did a community music app, came out really nice. So that their proposal also worked out really great. Right. So they introduced their team. Right, then their concept. I'm going to go through this quick, right? You can read it, but really strong look with these icons and the color, right? Their goals. Now these are their personas, their intended audience. So this was a little weak. So, points off for that. Problems and opportunities is great. Benefits. Why they believed in the idea. Their general research, right? This is a little kind of all over the place. Right, I thought they could have done a nicer job here to sort of organize this a little better. But their survey results came out great. Now, most people, when they do their survey results, don't do diagrams, charts. I think it would be great if you could sort of show. And then they called out what they really learned from each of these survey questions from their results. So I think this was really well done. Research, right? Their processes, personas, all the stuff they're working on, their affinity diagrams. These are okay. We'll see better ones, right? The deliverables, what they're thinking about, their related app reviews. I hope this typeface is because the one they use I don't have. I don't remember the type being this terrible. Let's see, app reviews, right? And then the technologies, right? Features, what they want to do. And then they got into the meat and potatoes, right? Here's the flowchart. And their wireframes. And their results of their user testing. And then some UI design. Each team member worked on one. Right. And I think these came out really great. They're one of the things that we always are challenged with is, lots of times people just color in their wireframes. So you can certainly see the relationship, but the design has really evolved beyond where the wireframes were. So I think these UI designs were really successful. And then this is where they ended up. I made their final prototype. I think it came out, overall came out great. The next one, Aptivism. So I think this one came out fine, not quite as well, but let's just go through and sort of see, right? They got a great logo, a great look, right? Here's the team, their abstract, right? I think all their research worked out really well, right? This format on the angle is a little weird and cut in, but these look great. I thought these just right. This layout worked out really nicely. This one too. Right, their survey questions. Now you don't need to explain to us all the survey questions. You can just say you did a survey and what the results ended up being. Right, and here's where I think the results are not. It's not clear exactly what this chart is trying to tell us. I'm not sure what's important. What's is this the good one? I'm not exactly sure what we're getting at. So when you're working on your results, really think about how can you explain what you really learned from the survey and how that will impact your design. Although this was a nice touch, treating it a little more creatively and right what they really want to target as part of their goals. I thought that was a nice touch. User personas came out good. All right. Now their affinity diagram I think came out great, right? I think that these categories made a lot of sense and sort of helped organize their thoughts into, logical logical items and sections. Put together a process flow chart, right? Their information flow chart, how the site is structured, but then all the decisions, right? About, what happens, and if yes, it goes this way, and if no, it goes that way, and, how users make decisions and work through the features of the app. Their journey maps came out very nicely. All right, and their user flow chart, again, I think this worked out really well. Right, you can, if you were to go through this, you sort of say, oh, clicking on this will take me here, and then I do go through these steps, and how it all works was step by step. Worked out nice. Now their wireframes, one of the challenges here, their wireframing, they kind of decided what their design was going to look like really early in advance, way earlier than they should have. And then their wireframes reflected that all the way through the design. Right. So here were their wireframes. Right. And then when they got to their UI, it wasn't a whole lot different. Right. It was made a little more sophisticated, a little sharpened up, but it didn't really evolve from the wireframes. The design came out really nice, so the project is nice. There's nothing wrong there. As I said, I was hoping for a little more exploration on the design, and I'll be looking for more exploration from your teams on the UI design. Okay, all right. Okay, that is that. So I will see you in the next post.